Did you know that RAILA's bodyguard who died recently, Jojo Duor, is entitled to a full military funeral, befitting a person of the inspector's rank, inspector of police? It is true. He is entitled to a full funeral for an inspector of police. Hey, there is a lot to say, but as a good communicator, I will try to explain, like explaining to a layman until the layman is conversant, as though the layman is an expert. Uh, During his funeral, it was confirmed, because it was a rumor before, it was confirmed that he was a police reservist of the rank of inspector of police. You may want to know why he was made a police reservist. He was made a police reservist because you remember recently, not recently, it has been a Kenyan character that whenever you are a senior officer and you disagree with the government in power, they withdraw your security, like Muturi recently. So Raila was clever about it. What Raila did is to convert his personal security, the platoon, to convert the personal security into police reservist. But why did he do that? I'll come to that later. So during his funeral, it was confirmed that he was a police reservist of the rank of inspector of police. When it comes to funerals, a police when it comes to funerals, a police reservist is entitled to a funeral right of a regular police officer. By regular police officer, I mean a general duty police officer or an AP of his rank. Not just funeral. Anything, any privilege that is given to an inspector of police is given to an inspector of police reservist. Any privilege that is given to any police officer, it is also given to a reservist of that rank. You'll find that in the police service, there are some privileges that go with rank. There are some privileges that go with corporal, inspector, superintendent, and so on and so forth. So, if in the police regulation they say that a police officer is entitled to a certain privilege, if it is said that as a police officer of a certain rank is entitled to a certain privilege, then all officers, be they general duties, be they DCI, be they GSU, be they AP, be they whatever, they enjoy the same facilities of that rank. So here we are talking about funeral, parade. Him having been an inspector of police in the National Police Reservist, it means that he is entitled to a funeral parade or funeral rites pertaining to a police inspector of either AP, GD, GSU, and so DCI, and so on. Other people who can be given police funeral or who can be given a certain funeral rites of a certain rank, in this case inspector, includes people like me, former police officers whom the Inspector General of Police has approved. What I mean here is, if you used to be a police officer of a certain rank, whatever rank is it constable, is it whatever, is it superintendent, is it whatever, if you are of that rank and you left that rank, you left it, either you resigned, you retired, or something like that, the Inspector General of Police can give you that privilege if the Inspector General so wishes. He's not answerable to anybody. He just declares that so and so, you'll be given the funeral rites of a person of that rank. Let me say here that subject to approval by the Inspector General of Police, current or subsequent ones, including the one who will be the Inspector General on the day I will die, I really would feel privileged if the Inspector General orders that I be given uh, a state funeral befitting the rank of inspector. For serving and reservist, it is automatic. You see, a person like me or any other former police inspector, not just police inspector, me or any other former police officer, it is the prerogative of the Inspector General to decide to give me such things. And if he gives me such privilege, he is not answerable to anybody. But for serving and for serving police officer and serving police reservists, then it is automatic. He or she has unless it is automatic, unless he or she has expressed a need to be given a non-military funeral. There are those who are serving police officers, they die, but if you go there, you'll find that they'll be just be. Okay, let me give an example of a pastor. There is Reverend Inspector so and so, who is a bishop in a certain church or whatever. He may want to be given that or whatever, or he could be an elder and he wants to be given a tereburu funeral. Right? So if a serving active police officer or a reservist does not want to be given that, then it will happen that way. I remember in 1989 in Ramu in Mandera, an AP was bitten by a cobra and was buried in a Muslim rite. Even the AP inspector called David Bayer uh, was not allowed to read the official mourning letter, official condolence letter from the bosses. Uh, that one happens. That one, serving or even active serving or even active reservist may not have the ceremony if the widow or widower wishes it to be a religious one or any other. You see, somebody can be active service and the immediate family, especially the widow or widower, may not wish that person to be given a military funeral. So if the family does not want such a thing to happen, then it will be that way. Remember, if the person was alive and he expressed that, then it would not happen that way. And if he dies without commenting, or if she dies without commenting, the immediate family, starting with the widow or widower, if they expressed to have a normal funeral, so be it. Supposing Oduor and or his family have no objection or have expressed their wish for him to be given a police funeral. Now, if he wanted to be given a police funeral, if he wanted to be given a police funeral, or if the family wants to be given a police funeral, then the pallbearers will be police inspectors, or that is in his case, it will be police inspectors. But in general, it is usually uh, rank mates. It is usually rank mates. Most of the pallbearers who are his rank mate, and in this case, his rank mates are police inspectors. Most of them, if not all, will come from the formation he comes from. Now, in the case of Oduor, he was a police inspector of the reservist. So most of them will be reservist if it will happen. And it is a bit hard to differentiate a reservist in a ceremonial police because they put on the ceremonial uniform like the utumishi kwa wote uniform. So from the way they dress, you cannot know. But if you look at their badges here, usually it is written Administration Police Service, or it is written Kenya Police Service, or GSU, or it is even written DCI. But for the National Police Reservist, it is written NPR. But the uniform is utumishi kwa wote. His coffin will be draped in the National Police Service flag. It will be draped in the National Police Service flag. Before we continue with the funeral, let us describe who is a police reservist. A police reservist is a part-time police officer who is only paid allowances when applicable and also when available. They have the same ranks as regular police officers. By regular police officers, I mean administration police officer, general duty police officers, GSU, DCI, and so on. They have the same ranks like those ones. But one thing is this: a constable who is a reservist is slightly under a rankmate who is a regular. The same happens to all ranks from corporal, sergeant, etc., etc. So when they are going to an operation and there are several inspectors, for example, or there are several superintendents, then the police reservist superintendent will work under the police, will work under police superintendent who is a regular police officer. But you'll find that a regular police officer and a regular police officer meaning utumishi kwa wote, AP, DCI, and so on and so on. If there is a superintendent who is a regular police officer, he must salute a police reservist who is a senior superintendent. Why was it possible to have Raila's bodyguards be police reservists? I said that, but I'll repeat it and emphasize it. If you are a Kenyan, you can remember cases of leaders. You see, when we go to the truth, people are supposed to be assessed by the National Security and Advisory Committee. They are supposed to look at your security and come up with a figure that they feel you should, that according to your seniority or according to your threat, you are supposed to have, let's say, even 12 askaris or even 20 askaris, depending on your seniority and or the threat to your safety. Now you'll find that in Kenya, when you disagree with the government, and I think you can remember Muturi saying so, when you disagree with the government finds a way to downscale or even remove your security. So Raila, being the Agwambo that he is, he had his own platoon of bodyguards. He had his platoon of bodyguards whom he struggled for them to be absorbed in the police reservist. So all the group, the platoon that Robert Oduor was heading was all converted into police reservist. So you can see that Agwambo is Agwambo. If you know the meaning of Agwambo, he long ago knew how to go round about it. He converted his security platoon into police reservist. Then they were seconded to him. In Kenya, a non-member of the disciplined forces cannot be licensed to handle certain types of firearms, e.g. machine guns and so on. So Raila's security are all police reservists who can handle any weapon that a regular police officer can handle. That is the trick that Raila used. He made sure that instead of hiring bodybuilders and whatever to be guarding him, he converted them into police reservists. And being police reservists, I said that is part-time police officers. And since they are recognized by police and they have force numbers, that was easy to have them. They were also entitled to certain training, uh, similar to regular SWAT. Regular SWAT undergoes both locally and internationally. Now you know. Let's go back to the military funeral befitting a police inspector. Remember, remember, a funeral of an inspector of police is similar to all police inspectors, irrespective of the formation one comes from. Actually, if there is a shortage of inspector of police reservists, regular police, that is AP, GDs, and GSU, can also be included. But if we have enough police inspector of police reservists, they can be pall bearers of Inspector uh, Oduor, George Oduor. The uniform police reservist resembles that of uh, utumishi kwa wote. You cannot differentiate it. What you can differentiate is when you look here, you'll find that administration police, it is written administration police service, Kenya Police Service, GSU, or even DCI. But the National Police Service, it is written NPR. Pallbearers will be the inspector of police, that is the rank of the deceased, but they're in charge. The in charge will be one rank ahead, who is a chief inspector. Most, if not all, will be National Police Reservist of the rank of Inspector of Police Reservist. But if the police reservists cannot produce, are they 8 or 10? If you cannot find a police reservist who are 10 to carry that, then they can top up with AP and and utumishi kwa wote, who are inspectors. But when you are an AP, you'll put on the AP ceremonial, and when you are utumishi, you'll put on utumishi ceremonial. His coffin will be draped in National Police Service flag. It will be draped with the National Police flag. On his coffin will be the inspector's ceremonial uniform. Ceremonial uniform, including boots, shining boots, including trouser and shirt and tie and so on. And also, there is a belt that goes comes from here up to forms something like a Z. That belt is called Sam Brown. His that belt will be placed on his coffin. In non-police security services, including KDF, Kenya Forest Service, Kenya Wildlife Service, and etc., he will be he the deceased will be buried in their uniform. But in the case of police, the deceased will be in civilian, because if you bury him in police uniform, some grave thieves will come and will have found a way of you'll have just given them a source of income. So a police inspector or any other police officer of whatever rank and whatever formation is buried in civilian clothes, but the ceremonial uniform, as I said, is placed on top of it is placed on top of the coffin. In other services, ceremonial uniform is also put on the top. So in other services which are not police, you find that the deceased is buried in the uniform. Is it military uniform or KWS uniform? And then another uniform is placed on top of the coffin. But police, National Police Service, they are buried in civilian, but on top of the coffin, we have the ceremonial uniform. On the coffin is the cape, kofia, full uniform, shining boots, and a Sam Brown belt without a sword. That is the The some brown belt is the one which I said goes across like a Z. But inspectors and chief inspectors of police, they do not put on. There is no sword. Yeah, but in the military, in the military, even other disciplined forces, the equivalent of inspectors and above, there is a sword there. But in the police service, the members of inspectorate don't have swords. They don't have swords, and a sword is not placed on the coffin. It is assistant superintendent and above who do have the sword, the military sword. And scabbard ni hiyo kitu unaekanga nini sword ndani. But in the military, all equivalent of inspectors and above do usually have that. I don't know why. During such as funeral, irrespective of the rank, there is a group that is called fire party. Fire party is the group that fires volleys of blank bullets into the air, so-called 21 gun salute. They are from the nearest police station. They are headed by a sergeant, and they are all constables. They are there to offer gun salute. I hope that for those who are non-disciplined personnel now do understand. Go well, George. You did your work well. Uh, Sincerely, this is one funeral that everybody agrees that you are a good person, even if nearly everybody didn't know you. That's all for today.